Hello everybody, and welcome to our first ever ManTime documentary. In this ManTime documentary, we will be going over one topic, which is bitches ain't shit. So put your pants on, take your clothes off, and let's get ready.
It's a ManTime show. It's a ManTime show. It's a ManTime show. It's a ManTime show. It's a ManTime show.
Before we start, I want to make a disclaimer. Bitches are indeed not shit, which is what we will be going over in the remainder of this documentary. But I want to say that despite the fact that bitches ain't shit, men, to some degree, ain't shit as well. Men do act in a very particular manner and can sometimes act very similarly to females. So what I want you to remember is that just because bitches ain't shit doesn't mean men are free from sin. We are all sinful, and to some degree we all ain't shit. But in this particular video, we're going to focus specifically on why bitches ain't shit. So just remember that while we're watching it. So why are bitches shit? Why, in this day and age, how do we come to this, really? Let's be honest. How did we go from all women are queens to all women are thoughts? Which, we're going to have to talk about the downfall of women. And sadly, it starts in religion and Greek mythology. In religion, we have Adam and Eve, and in Greek mythology, we have Pandora. Both are extremely similar stories, but with some notable differences. In Adam and Eve was seduced by a snake in order to eat from the forbidden tree. And subsequently, she doomed all of humanity. Pandora opened up Pandora's box, which led to rage, evil, jealousy, and all of the bad things in this world to come out. In both of these examples, we see that bitches ain't shit from the start. They were the ones that caused these massively destructive forces to come to life. And sadly, it's from the start. From the start of mankind. From before we had even mastered anything, bitches had become shit. But flash forward 4,000 years to 2020, and bitches have successfully added on to their shitness. And this mainly stems from two websites, Patreon and OnlyFans. I know, the most infamous sites probably on the internet. More specifically for how the females act in their vicinity and how they use these particular websites. So what is Patreon and what is OnlyFans? Well, OnlyFans, as the name will describe, is content that is only for fans. Usually, it implies people paying for stuff. Typically on the website, in fact, what the website is actually made up of is adult content. Patreon, on the other hand, is a little bit different. Patreon is more for patrons, people who want to purchase art, or people who want to spend money to see somebody create something. It came from the idea of giving artists a chance, but sadly it has been morphed into this devilish mud pit where bitches reside and bitches continuously use. Now I know what all of you are thinking, but Nick, what's the issue? You have to pay to get into these, therefore they can be easily avoided. And how do they have any impact on the internet? Well, sadly, that's where you're wrong. OnlyFans and Patreon have had devastating impacts on the entire internet, and even the male sex. So let's focus on what it did to the internet. What it did is actually pretty simple. It changed the way females behave online. Rather than behaving in a typical online fashion, posting videos of you doing stuff, maybe funny, maybe you on a trip, or maybe achievements you have gotten, females typically will post nude or lewd pictures of themselves in order to entice you into their OnlyFans or Patreon. Now this seems enticing to some, and for those people we call them simps. And this is where we must pause. The word simp is an extremely overused word, and a lot of people do not know the formal definition of it. Therefore, it is often used incorrectly. The formal definition of the word simp is giving copious amounts of attraction to a woman that does not deserve it. So, spending money on someone's OnlyFans, on their Patreon, asking for their private snap, donating on their streams, are all forms of simping. Being nice to a woman, or simply saying a woman is cute or beautiful, is not simping. Because, and the most important part of simping, is giving it to a female that does not deserve it. That is the most crucial part of simping. If the female does not act in a whore-like manner, or is not a slut by any means, therefore, you're not simping by complimenting them. Now, if you start to give them copious amounts of attention, to the point where you're interfering with your own life, and perhaps theirs, then it transforms into simping. Now that we have a grasp on what simping means, we can now progress. What OnlyFans and Patreon has done is it has created an entire generation of simps. There are too many simps to count online. Actually, that would be false. It would be quite easy to count the amount of simps online by merely going to one eThought's Patreon and counting how many donators she has. Simps are a very bad group of men, mostly because they will tirelessly fight against their own kind, which is sad and very ignorant of them. They will spend so much time attempting to uplift a female that they will shoot down other men. Now, this is not to say that all of their effort is rewarded. In fact, all of their effort is rewarded with nothing. They gain no bitch at the end, they gain no head, and they gain no nudes. Simply, they gain nothing. Nothing. All of that fighting for nothing. And this perhaps can anger that man, and it can lead him to do many things. He could hit a woman. He could hit a man. He could become gay. Maybe he just says fuck it. Either way, it heavily impacts people. So the first thing that OnlyFans and Patreon has done is it has created groups and groups of simps. And the number of simps expands daily. And it infects other parts of social media. And it is going to infect the real world. Maybe it will infect politics. I don't know. But simping has shown no sign of going down. In fact, it has only shown signs of going up, which is sad. The second thing that OnlyFans and Patreon has done is it has made females unapproachable. You cannot approach them at all. If you hit them up and say, hey, do you want to be my e-girl? Simple. They will typically redirect you to their OnlyFans or to the Patreon. They usually will demand that you give them money, and then they will think about being your e-girl. This is sad. It makes it very difficult to hit women up. It makes it very difficult for you to even have online female friends, because usually they will redirect you or try to gain some kind of money out of you. It's a sad, sad world we live in. And it's a sad world for all social media outlets. Which is why you have to be careful. When you approach a woman who does have a Patreon or OnlyFans, you must be aware that at any time they could just redirect you. I, myself, have been redirected on multiple occasions to someone's OnlyFans or someone's Patreon, I have always declined. And when I said no, I didn't get any more responses from them. Bitches are so engrossed in money and their body that they will turn around all men in order to get money. Their greed knows no bounds. Now, everything we've talked about so far only occupies itself within the internet, and therefore, in some respects, it doesn't necessarily affect the outside world. Sadly, you're wrong. Because of this OnlyFans and Patreon, what it has done is it has affected women in the real world because they have become more whore-like, more thought-like, and therefore they're more likely to sleep with another man. That actually happened with me. Yes, some of you may not know this, but I've actually had 2 girlfriends before I had these 4. All of them cheated on me. All of them left me. I've never been able to hit them up since. Because OnlyFans and Patreon has been affecting the real world, it is making it increasingly harder to approach girls in the real world. While they might not necessarily redirect you to their OnlyFans or their Patreon, usually because real world women do not actually have any, it has risen their standards to a level that the average man cannot meet. But what has not happened is female standards, meaning the standards that we impose on women, have not increased at all. They have not gotten better. In fact, they have gotten worse. They have been dressing more whore-like, acted more thought-like, become dumber. They are no longer our intellectual superiors. In fact, I think they're going down, and it's hurting all of mankind. A common thing you see is women will completely reject you if you are under 6 feet. If you are not 6 feet tall, you ain't having it. But if you make any assumptions, or you say anything along the lines of, well, I would prefer not to date a woman if she is overweight, you're attacked, scrutinized. You're fatphobic. It's a sad world we live in when that kind of double standards exists. The sad part about all of this stuff is it is spreading. It goes from person to person to person to person to person and continues onward and forever. I think we have lost the traditional female. The female that loves you. The female that wants to spend all of her time with you, so you want to spend all your time with her. Females right now are extremely entitled. Therefore, they take and take and take everything from you. To the point where you have nothing left. It's a sad world we live in. It's very sad. And like I said, it's spreading. It's not going down. It's not... There's nothing to suppress it. All of the efforts online, including my own, in an effort to stop simping, in an effort to not engage in simping, isn't working. In fact, the opposite is true. Women and, in some cases, men are profiting off of simping or this thought-like behavior. Women have been able to buy entire houses using their body. And another thing is men cannot do the same thing. Twitch is a streaming service where this is most commonly seen. Women can walk around the environment nude. They can shake their asses and shake their titties all day, and Twitch mods will ignore it. They love it. But if a man so much as takes off his shirt, or you see a little bit of his belly button, they're banned. Like I said, simps attack other men in an effort to gain women, the woman that they will never get. That's why I stick with body pillows. They're loyal, they won't leave me, and we respect each other. At the end of the day, bitches ain't shit. They have continued to be not shit. And they were not shit in the beginning, and they will probably never be shit. Also, bitches will twerk off to anything. Before we conclude this documentary, I want to remind you what I said in the beginning. Yes, bitches ain't shit. Bitches will likely never be shit. And we will have to live with that. But we all have to remember is that in some cases, men ain't shit either. Nobody is superior to one another. Nobody is above one another. Everybody is at equal levels of shit. And in this video, I just wanted to highlight female shittery. Keep that going forward. And carry on, kings. Goodbye.